friends, Shayla here, and I am here today with my February releases on my radar. So, as you guys know, this is a new series I've started on my channel in which I tell you guys the releases that I'm looking forward to the upcoming month. So, if you want to know what I was looking forward to in January, I will leave that video linked down below. But this is the round for February. I do have notes taken on my phone, so if you see me looking down, that is why. And it's not like I'm trying to hide anything. I just took very thorough notes. And guys, if I end up picking up everything on this list, girlfriend here is gonna be broke. There are so many good releases coming out in February. A lot of those are manga, and you guys know how I am with manga, so let's go ahead and dig right into this list because it's a long one. All right, so let's start with February 5th. The first thing we're going to talk about is The Fearless King. This is book 2 in a series by Katie Robert that I read the first book of last year, loved. That was like an enemies to lovers smutty romance with like a one-night stand kind of history, and it was so good. I'm really looking forward to the continuation in this story and to get to see these characters again. I think it's going to be a great time. So the next one on this list is a highly anticipated fantasy for this year. This is The Ruin of Kings by Jenny Lyons. Tor is starting to pitch this as the next, like, Robert Jordan Sanderson-esque kind of book, which is exactly why it's on my radar. You guys know I have a whole shelf dedicated to Brandon Sanderson in my library, so if this is any good, believe me, I will be tooting its horn along with everybody else. The next one on this list is The Weight of Our Own Sky. This is an Own Voices novel. This definitely looks interesting and intriguing, and it's on my radar for sure. And the last novel for this week, and then we'll get into a bunch of manga, is Enchanté. You guys know my love of all things Parisian, so of course this was going to be on my list. And it just looks and sounds amazing. And I'm going to try to create a Goodreads list with all of these titles to leave linked down below for you so you can get more in-depth descriptions of each of these titles. All right, so on to the manga for this week. There are 5 volumes of manga that are on my radar for this week. The first one being Aoharu Ride Volume 3. You guys know I'm so excited about this English publish. If you're not, well, I am. So this is one that's definitely on my radar this month. The next one is another shoujo title, and that is Shortcake. This one is a really sweet shoujo that I have really been loving. I give a more detailed description of both of these in my most recent manga recommendations video, so I'll leave that linked down below for you. The next one is Eden Zero Volume 2. This is Hiro Mashima's follow-up work to Fairy Tail. You get nods from Fairy Tail characters throughout this series, but it's definitely much more modern and much more sci-fi as opposed to being so fantasy and fairy tale. So it is a little bit different, but there are some elements that are the same. You can tell Mashima is kind of using that same formula that's worked well for him, and his art style is very distinct in the industry, so definitely if you liked Fairy Tail or Rave Master at all, definitely pick up Eden Zero. Next up, we have Takane and Hana Volume 7. You guys know that I love this age gap romance. It's still pretty innocent at this point, which is why it's working. If it starts to delve too far into the non-innocence before things are more legal, then I'm going to have an issue. But for now, I'm still really enjoying it, so I'm going to continue to pick it up. And then the other one, this is a new title to me, and that is In Another World with My Cell Phone. This is about a teenage boy who all of a sudden is in this meeting with God, and God made a flub, and he's not supposed to be dead, but he is. So he says, I can bring you back in this fantasy world, and he takes him up on it, and his cell phone's with him, obviously. So yeah, that's kind of the general premise of this one. I think it's going to be fun shenanigans. It does have the potential to be harem, so I will let you guys know for sure when I know more. All right, now we're moving on to February 12th. So on February 12th, I've got more books, less manga this week. And the first one on this list is The Blood Spell by CJ Redwine. This is part of the Ravenspire series. I read the first book in the series and really loved it and just didn't keep up with the series, but this one's definitely on my radar. They're all companion novels, so you don't have to necessarily read them in order. So I am really excited for this one. I think it might be a potential read for our Tell It Again book club. So it's on my radar for that reason. The next one is Comics Will Break Your Heart. This seems like a really sweet contemporary involving the daughter or granddaughter of a graphic novel artist. I forget if she's the daughter or the granddaughter. And just kind of how a boy entering her life changes everything. It just sounds really sweet and really cute. There's a good chance that this is going to be thrown onto my Contemporary-a-thon TBR because that's happening that week, so I might just save that for that particular part of it. All right, next up we have Crown of Feathers. This is a new YA fantasy coming to the world, and Phoenix writers. I'm sold. I don't need to know anything else. They're going to be writing freaking phoenixes. I'm here for this novel. I'm definitely here to try it at least. I hope with all my heart that it's as good as everybody else is toting it to be because girlfriend's happy. Next up we also have Writer, which is a Delta Squad novel, which is like a cop smutty romance series. You know I like my smuts peeps. I am looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a fun ride. And then I do have 2 volumes of manga this week. The first one being Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle Volume 5. As you guys know, in the month of January, I've really delved into this series, really been enjoying the shenanigans of it. So, of course, number 5 is going to be on my radar. And also a number 5 on my radar is Tokyo Terroraba Girls Volume 5. I own up through Volume 4. I've read the first 2, absolutely adore it. Plan on reading the other ones soon as I finish another video project that will be coming soon. But yes, absolutely adoring Tokyo Terroraba Girls. If you're not reading it and you liked Princess Jellyfish at all, read it, read it, read it. All right, on to February 19th. Hey friends, Editing Shay here. So I am so sorry. I forgot to mention the final book in the Lycanius trilogy is coming out this week. I know it starts with The Light. I don't remember the full title. I am so freaking excited for the conclusion to this series. This is an epic fantasy series that's along the same lines as the Stormlight Archive, but it's not 10 books long, it's only 3. It's really, really, really well done. I quite enjoy the audiobooks for this one, so that's typically how I've been digesting them. But seriously, guys, this series is amazing. I know that Elliot Brooks did a read-along of this one fairly recently, so definitely go give this series a check out because it is seriously so good, and I did not want it to miss this list because it's definitely on my radar. It was supposed to release last August, but then it got pushed back, and I just forgot to mention it when I was creating this video, even though it is actually on my physical list. So yes, definitely check this one out. So I've got 1 novel, 1 light novel, and 3 volumes of manga. So the first novel is The Ingenious. This is a new fantasy novel coming. It's an adult fantasy, and I found out about this one from Thomas over SFF 180. He tends to have his nose and thumb on the pulse of fantasy, especially adult fantasy. So when he is going out of his way to mention something, I usually perk up and pay attention. So yes, that's how this one made this list. I will leave his video linked down below where he talks about all his anticipated releases for 2019 because I really think if you like adult fantasy, you should definitely check it out. All right, now we have the light novel, and this is Woof Woof Story. It's got a much longer title attached to it as well, but I'm calling it Woof Woof Story. So essentially this is about someone was supposed to bring this person back as a dog, and it ended up being some sort of bigger other dog. I don't remember the description off the top of my head, but I do know that it looks absolutely fun, and I'm here for it. All right, now we have the 3 volumes of manga for this week. So the first one we're going to talk about is Overlord Volume 9. You guys know I like Overlord. This is like if the villainous Overlord was running the world in a video game. That's essentially what this is. It's really fun. I really enjoy it. I know that the anime is very successful, and I'm just reading the manga published as it comes out. And then I've got Volume 5 of Hatsuharu. You guys know at the end of Volume 4 I wasn't too terribly happy, so I'm anxiously anticipating Volume 5, hoping that it kind of corrects some of the stuff that was going on in the end of 4. So here's hoping. And then we also have Silver Spoon Volume 7. I have read the first 2 volumes of Silver Spoon. Absolutely love this. This is the same mangaka that does Full Metal Alchemist. The art style is great. This is about a teenager enrolling in an agricultural high school, even though he doesn't really have any agricultural aspirations or goals. He's just trying to get away from his family, essentially. So, yeah, it's really fun. I think they've been very accurate in what they're depicting in the agriculture side of things. So I think it's great. It's really fun. All right, now we're on to February 26th. I'm going to leave the volumes of manga for last, so we'll go through the books first. So first up, we've got The Cowboy Next Door. This is definitely a cowboy smutty romance, and I have recently learned that I love cowboy smutty romance. At least one person's brand of cowboy smutty romance. I'm going to try this one out because I think it's going to be fun. This is by the same publisher as the other one I like, so I'm hopeful. The next one is Fierce Justice, which is a true heroes novel, again from the same publisher that I really trust with my smutty romances. And this one, I can't tell if they're like military or like cops, firefighters, that kind of stuff, but true heroes. So that's what this one is about, and I think it's going to be a blast. Lots of smutty fun. And now we have Last of Her Name. This is an Anastasia and space retelling. It was originally supposed to come out in January. They bumped it back, I think because they didn't want to compete with The Wicked King, because it was supposed to come out the same day. And so they ended up pushing it back. I'm okay that they pushed it back. I am still anxiously anticipating it because I really like Anastasia as a story. And my foray into space retellings recently, at least the last one I read, was fantastic. So I'm here for it. And next up, we have one that has been on everybody's list this year, and that is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is an epic fantasy, nice big tome, right up my alley. It's got dragons and powerful women. Like, I'm all about this. It just sounds so good. I'm here for it. All right, so that was the last novel on this list. I do have 2 volumes of manga left. The first one is going to be Clockwork Planet Volume 10. I do follow the publishers for Clockwork Planet, even if I'm not current on the series, because I might... I try to pick those ones up when I can get them on sale, just because they're a little more expensive because they're the taller volumes. So I still like to keep up with how many volumes have been published, though. So I might not pick this one up right away, but it's still definitely on my radar because it's a series I really enjoy. And the last one is anxiously anticipated by me. I'm sure you all know what it is at this point. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Volume 10 of The Ancient Magus Bride. We are finally starting the next story arc of Chise and Elias's story. There is no anime for this current story arc, so this is all going to be new content, and I am here for it. The only thing we know at the end of the last arc is that Chise will be going to the school that is alluded to throughout the series, throughout the first arc of the series. So I am really interested to see how this goes down for her and how Elias will react to her going to school. It's going to be a great time. I'm so here for this series. You guys know this. Like, these are my babies. I love them. You guys know I'm here for this series. And if you've not been on my channel very long and you're new, you can go back and watch like any video that mentions the Ancient Magus Bride. I'll leave my 2018 favorites linked down below where I fangirl all about Ancient Magus Bride, because I tend to fangirl about it pretty hard. So anyways, those are the releases that I am anxiously anticipating in the month of February. Let me know in the comments down below what books and manga you're looking forward to in the month of February, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.